part in the green screen, that's the sun doing sun things. Of course it is. Let's see what the devs say here, and then we'll cover the actual written articles after the dev blog here. Yeah, feels like I'm almost in, not really in third person, but feels like I'm not completely attached about it. Fucking weird feeling. Don't worry, guys.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Obon here.
Ah! New hero, new maps, and team-ups.
After the Hellfire Gala was crushed by Ultron's surprise attack, the mutants of Krakoa faced some of their toughest days yet. Now, Ultron has stolen Cerebro, evolved into the even more formidable Electron, and retreated to his new stronghold, Arakko. Once Krakoa's sister Iron, Arakko, has lost all its vitality.
They made a backstory for the environment, which is always good. Helps you get into the actual game itself.
But the fight isn't over. Our heroes, regrouping after
in psychology, they make like, when you talk about like consumer psychology, so you talk about like a target demographic. Let's say if you're doing marketing, you come up with a persona for the type of person or who they are. So then you actually, like, it gives you a backstory and kind of like creative idea of where to go, and things that are solidified, right? That's what they're doing.
Arakko. Now,
I don't know if this is actually part of the Marvel universe.
Hero. He's a strategist who can provide consistent healing to his allies. However, he can also unleash devastating energy beams against enemies. His unique primary weapon introduces an all-new shooting experience. And as a fighting strategist, Ultron opens up fresh possibilities for your aerial lineups. For Season 2.5, we are taking our dynamic team-up ability system even further.
Strategist the tank? Oh my god, guys. Rivals strategist. I don't even know the three names. Yeah, healer. He's a fucking healer? That doesn't remotely match his character. What?
With
I guess.
Further adjustments to team-ups to bring even more strategy and excitement to every battle. In this update, we are adding 6 new team-up abilities, removing 4, and adjusting the members of 1.
Jeff Luna, Hawkeye, Widow, which is a double image. Rocket is losing his other team-up with Punisher. He already lost the one with Winter Soldier. And Spider-Man, Venom, and Penny are all losing their splooge. And they're sploogeless, guys.
Overall, by Season 2.5, more than 50% of our team-up abilities have changed compared to...
As I mentioned before, guys, I think it would actually be really cool. Not that they shouldn't change things up, because I definitely think they should change things up. But I actually do think that they should give you the ability to select which team-up you want. So in the case of Psylocke, you have her clones, and then you have her recall, right? I'd rather have recall than clones, but I don't really have a choice of it, right? I think it would actually be like if you could pick it prior to the game starting, so not in the lobby, so you can counterpick with it, but as like a preference selected before the game starts. It would allow you to basically tailor your gameplay, your characters, without actually like selecting like a not really a MOBA, right? It's not really something where you're grinding out an ability or deadlock, or you're purchasing something, but as opposed to just part of the character kits to begin with, right? Because I'd most definitely rather have rewind, or I don't even remember what it's called, the rewind, as opposed to clones.
Season 0. And by popular demand, we are adding the Gemnado team-up ability. We love hearing your
There's
ideas
no way.
And community
There's no way.
And by popular...
Yeah, well, in this case, it's pretty clear that they actually, the developers know their target base. This is actually pretty hilarious, to be perfectly honest. Too bad he doesn't duplicate it and turns into a bunch of Jeffs. But
popular demand, we are adding the Gemnado team-up ability. We love hearing your ideas, and community feedback is a huge part of how we shape the game. So keep those suggestions coming.
Get rid of DDA. If DDA is in the game, fuck it. If it isn't in the game, you got a lot of work to do, because holy fuck, the damage
On
reduction, no regs,
we're launching an exciting new limited
and possibly
time
reverse
experimental
magnetization.
mode, Ultron's Battle Matrix
In a
Protocol.
couple games yesterday.
In this mode, 6 players can choose their own hero lineups, craft unique builds, and enhance their heroes' traits. Protocol, time experimental mode. Ultron's Battle Matrix Protocol.
So, like
mode,
Deadlock?
6
Or Arena that Overwatch has now added, right?
players can choose their own hero lineups, craft unique builds, and enhance their heroes' traits. Then, engage in battle against other players.
You know what's funny, guys? I like to point out. Oh, this is TFT. This isn't actually Deadlock. I thought this was actually like Deadlock or Arena. This is TFT. You know what I find interesting, guys, is how long Overwatch had as like the pinnacle of hero shooters, in which basically nothing changed. In which case, nothing changed for years. They had 2 years where they didn't release any content for Overwatch 2. And even after Overwatch 2 came out, they released absolutely nothing up until when Rivals appeared. So it's just an absolute showcase of why competition is extremely important, because otherwise there's some people literally just don't do anything. And Intel is another popular case of that. Intel and AMD, like if AMD didn't release Ryzen, Intel would have kept releasing. All they were doing is releasing like 5% performance increases and energy savings per cycle. That was it. That's all they did for the longest time. It was just stagnated after Bulldozer, which was like 2010 or something. And then Ryzen came out in like 18. It was just a stagnation for like 8 years where they didn't do anything. Didn't do absolutely anything because they didn't need to.
For the chance to claim victory. This mode
So kind of a
is an
TFT game.
experiment of how we can fulfill everyone's fantasies of Marvel superheroes teaming up. Players can
Fortnite
take
experience.
control of a
Fortnite is an
wider array
ecosystem.
of
It's not just a
heroes
game.
and amplify
Or
their
Roblox.
states and abilities. Take a break from the high-octane cooperative team battles to enjoy streamlined, strategic, numerical-based solo tactical play. As the battles unfold,
TFT is a
you will
very
see
difficult
mana
game to balance, so
grow
I
into a
imagine
colossal
it's kind of
force
hard for them to
after
do this
devouring
properly.
Enemies. Witness Hela's extreme fire rate and spitting projectiles as she cuts
That being
down
said,
foes.
NetEase was originally a mobile
Experience
company,
the
so
increased
this might be
strikes
right up
of
their
Psylocke's ultimate.
alley.
And behold, Namor commanding a true army of deep-sea creatures. Strategists will also unleash ultimate abilities that not only heal their allies, but also deal tons of damage to their enemies. We've also taken note of your feedback regarding the previous giant-sized Brain Blast leaderboards. Consequently, this mode will not feature similar designs, allowing players to
You
fully
have actual
enjoy the
glass
experience
glasses.
based on their preferences.
They look exceedingly shiny.
With the launch of Season 2.5,
Like they're actual glass.
a new feature
You can actually, if you
that
guys don't know, you can
showcase-
actually get glasses made of glass. You just, not only they're pretty expensive, but they, putting aside the fact that they also can break. They're pretty expensive, but they're also, can still scratch, and they're very heavy. But optically, glass is still the best over basically all the plastics and the hybrids like Triton.
Faces hero proficiency avatars on the match hero
Glasses I have.
wheel. Additionally, we are rolling out 2 flash personalization systems, mood and emojis.
It has a
We
lower
will
ab
continue
factor.
to optimize the player experience with each version update. Starting from Season
Trivex.
3,
I have Trivex
the
lenses.
seasons of Marvel Rivals
Which reduces,
will be shortened to 2 months each.
Ab factor,
and
which
we
makes
are
it so colors
diligently
basically
preparing for the
are
new
more accurate.
case. Our
less likely
vision
to diverge
has
from each other.
always been to provide fun and engaging superhero experiences for all Marvel Rivals fans. And the new heroes
You guys were talking what?
that showcases hero point. With the launch of Season 2.5, we are introducing a new feature that showcases hero proficiency avatars on the match hero select wheel. Additionally,
you can see them.
we are rolling out 2 fresh personalization systems, mood and emojis. We will continue to optimize the player experience with
Beauty
each
stuff.
version update.
Nothing wrong with that.
Starting from Season 3, the seasons of Marvel Rivals will be shortened to 2 months each, and we are diligently
Pretty
preparing
short.
for the new
I thought they were doing that with
case.
Season 2.
Our vision has always been to provide fun and engaging superhero experiences.
Yeah,
for
but you don't
all
need to do
Marvel
it with DDA.
Rivals fans. And the new
You don't need to do
heroes
it
will
dynamic
catching up
difficulty
are
adjustment.
Definitely was the way.
So if you guys haven't been around for my streams, dynamic difficulty adjustment is where basically they reduce your ability to do damage. Community knows it cliquely as no regs, or where's my damage going? Why is no one dying? You know, like the idea that basically you have no efficacy over what's happening in the match because the game basically robs you of it. Whether or not it's true remains to be seen. And over this last season 1.5 was probably the best the game has felt. And Season 2, when it started, I went from a normalized 16 killing blows per match, which we've played an absolute boatload of Psylocke, to roughly 12 to 8. And in some cases, 4, and we're doing the best on the team. And that's pretty absurd, where basically I shoot a character in-game, and they do take almost no damage. You don't do anything at all. In any way, shape, or form, it fucking feels weird as shit. And it's immediately discernible, because I know how much damage I do with Psylocke, and I can instantly basically cycle a character and kill them in-game. And after Season 2 launched, this became more and more common. And up until maybe this last week, it was a pretty miserable experience. And with Season 2, they added things where it feels like there's multiplication in the game, where people are doing more damage than they should be. That's extremely rare, though. And then also reverse magnetization and magnetization. And in the case of reverse magnetization, it actually pushes your aim away from the character when you're aiming at the character, which would be another scummy way to do things. Well, that's the way the game feels right now. And we had a couple games like that yesterday, which were really bad. And I just left one, and then the next game it wasn't like that at all. Very weird shit. And with magnetization, it's like aim assist in a video game. And if you look at the kill cam, what you'll actually see is the same thing with I don't know even what to call it. Where instead of pushing away from your aim, if you look at the kill cam, if you look at where you're shooting the character on your camera, and then you look at the kill cam, you'll see that your aim is actually desynced. It looks like you're shooting away from the character, like 15 degrees to the side of the character on either side. But then at the same time, your character will be looking like they're looking at the person, like they're going to shoot at the person, but it comes out to the side. Very, very weird. And in the same way, you'll actually see people, which could also be, this could just be silent aim, which is a cheat, by the way, which DDA has plenty of overlap with silent aim. But if you look at DDA, or if you look at the way that sometimes DDA could work with magnetization, you have a character that missed a shot on a character with where they're aiming, but instead it aims at the character like aim assist. And that's basically the way silent aim works, where your crosshair's off target, but you're actually shooting the target. If they wanted to implement that in game, which would basically be a cheat, it would manifest itself in basically the same way, which is it looks like the person's not aiming at the target, but clearly they are, right? Pretty shitty shit, guys. That's where the game is right now, so it's one of the biggest problems I have with it.
We'll gradually unveil a series of
But I don't play comp.
and updates for Season 3, so stay tuned. In June, our Ignite Tournament series will kick off the first stage of competition. We hope everyone enjoys the excitement these matches bring. Now, let's turn it over to Zhiyong, who will share insights on the adjustments to team up abilities and balance changes for Season 2.5.
Hey Rivals, Zhiyong here to give you the details on our Season 2.5 update. It's packed with dynamic team-up ability changes and overall balance tweaks that are sure to ignite your battles.
I'm ignited.
In Season 2.0, we debuted adjustments for team-up abilities, injecting fresh energy into our game environment. With Season 2.5, we are going even further, with not only team-up ability changes, but also the arrival of our new hero Ultra and the key numerical balance updates, all set to deliver a whole new level of combat excitement. Venom takes center stage as the team-up anchor, sharing part of his symbiote with Jeff.
I know there's other
This lets
translations.
Jeff wield symbiote tendrils to link with allies and heal them in the heat of battle. As the team-up anchor, the Punisher has retooled Black Widow's Red Room rifle with a brand new firing mode. Now, while aiming down sights, she can unleash a piercing pulse beam that cuts right through enemies.
That'd be
Luna
extremely
still
difficult to
powers
use
up these team-ups as the anchor
with the way
by
that
crafting
Widow
a
is played normally.
specialized ice
So, the way Widow is normally played, right, is she sits in high spots on hard-to-reach locations off to the side, because it makes it more difficult not only for the enemy team to approach her position, giving her more time to react, but at the same time, it forms a natural barrier. So you're generally pretty detached from your teammates. In the case of... Oh, God, bud. Gives a shit. In the case of Widowmaker, however, she sits off to the side or behind the lines in a different corner or a different area, right? And she's not usually in line of sight of the main thoroughfare. She's not a Punisher. She doesn't sit straight up in an alleyway, you know, where your team's normally like congregated right here and you have a tanks up in front here moving forward. You got a big ball of mass here, which is your healers and your backline basically, and your midline or your meat and potatoes DPS like Punisher, Winter Soldier, Namor. There's a lot of heroes that basically just do strong Moon Knight, strong consistent damage. Oh, Moon Knight sometimes is off to the side too because he needs a height elevation. Widowmaker or snipers usually sit off on sides or corners with getting angles on characters in which they're more hard to approach or they have good line of sight, and as such they're not sitting behind this group of people. A confrontation between two tanks, let's say you're looking at it sideways here, with the tanks or whatever meeting up in the center here, you have the mid section as well as the back end or the back line right here behind your tanks. They're like this. In order to actually get the main benefit from a pierce, you have to be behind these guys. Storm, which has a piercing projectile too, can do that, but she also tends to be around the middle of the pack, right, or above the pack. But she can also go and move down and actually intersect with the line of tanks and enemies, the midline. Widowmaker does not sit in that area in any way, shape, or form. So it makes it very, very difficult to utilize something like that, and probably going to be pretty much just useless, is my guess. However, Widow could potentially be played like a McCree. She generally is not, meaning that when characters are below about 20 meters, I want to say, when they're within 20 meters, you do full damage. You don't need to scope at all, and basically she becomes more consistent damage. I don't think most Widowmakers even know that. But yeah, there's like a range at which you can get to where you basically do full damage without actually scoping at all, and you don't need to scope, and it actually turns up, your DPS goes up a lot. A lot of Widowmakers don't do that. It potentially adds to that sort of playstyle. I think people have to figure it out in the first place that that's even a thing in the game, but you could potentially do that as a Widowmaker. I've seen maybe two, in all the time I've played this game, I've seen maybe two Widowmakers do that, where they play her like a McCree. It's very unintuitive. Maybe if they made it so the gun warps, I mean, that maybe to be too much like Widowmaker, right? Where her gun changes between changes between an SMG and a sniper, right? But people, it's very hard to intuitively notice that Widowmaker actually kind of turns into a McCree unless you know how her gun operates. Intuitively, no. I know I have almost no playtime on her. I just know how the gun mechanics work, right? It makes it almost next to impossible for you to figure it out in the first place. So that's a tough one.
Piercing pulse beam that
it might be good, but it'd be very difficult to use normally, unless you use it like a McCree.
By crafting a specialized ice arrow for Hawkeye.
That being said, the Widowmaker Hawkeye team up is almost never used besides the kids trying to do the Reddit clip of, you know, using it and then instantly killing like a tank, right? Because it pops out when you use the team up with Hawkeye and Widowmaker, it pops out a clone, and then you ult at the same time and it does like 500 damage or something. It's something insane.
This arrow penetrates through terrain cover, and the farther the target, the more damage it packs, even stunning foes beyond a certain distance. Rocket steps up as the
arrow?
team up
Or,
angle by
Ash's arrow?
engineering an enhanced bionic spider nest for Penny, one that can coexist with her original while also dropping armor packs. Meanwhile,
that's insane. So I have actually commented basically the one thing about Penny, they didn't actually buff Penny. The one thing about Penny that actually makes her unique, much like Torch, which would have made Torch a lot better, is with Penny is if they actually enhanced her nest. That's like what differentiates her from other tanks is her area control, area denial. Very few characters actually have that in the game, and it makes her character relatively unique as opposed to just another bland, Venom or whatever, right? Where she can swing a little bit and do some CC. Her nests are what makes her truly unique. But once you blow up her nest, she's basically useless as a tank. That's the way it goes. All of her abilities work around her nest. Having multiple nests allows her basically to, although this one looks smaller, it doesn't look like it puts up the same size web as the one here on the left, which is the normal nest. It's about half the size. This would not only, assumedly this generates 2 times as many drones, which means she does 2 times as much damage when you step on it, which is pretty insane in and of itself. Being able to express an area, bigger area control forces you to actually to deal with it. Right now, Penny one tricks literally just go and stand on the side and just try to bait you into her nest. And if you don't go to the nest, yeah, she just sits there and shoots at you up on the corner like, hey bro, why don't you come visit? I assure you there's no candy. You're sitting here right on the side. Yeah, guys, don't come up here. You're like, yeah, nah, I think I'm good. Like she sits up there on like a ledge on the side, and clearly you can see the spider webs hanging over the side, and you're supposed to go visit and die. Is basically the way that comes down to, right? Which no one does. Or you blow up the nest, and basically she does jack shit. Also, because she tries to do like a one trick thing where she baits you into the nest. It's also pretty straightforward, but they could have 100% enhanced it instead of they kept trying to buff Penny and make her like buff to her damage and stuff like they did with Torch. Torch, I thought, was a pretty cool character, and he still arguably is. But the hardest part of his character to use is his area denial kit. It's putting the cinder piles on the ground and then connecting them, right? But the cinder piles have problems. We played Torch quite a bit before he got buffed. Cinder piles have quite a bit of problems where if they hit the side of a wall, if they hit a player, and if there's an elevation change of about more than a meter, they won't connect. If it hits a player and it hits a shield or a wall, it will literally disappear. It doesn't do anything at all. And you need it to do so. It needs to drop the pile on the ground. It doesn't do that. And that means you can't connect it, or you have to do a highly premeditated thing where you connect the piles well, like you're plotting the piles well before the enemy even shows up, which is a huge pain in the ass, and there's only certain places you can do it, and it's not something you can do in the heat of battle. So, I mean, if you want to turn them into something like Penny, that's a little bit different, and it takes, there's a different, not only skill set, but like a different way of playing the character as far as setup goes, and Torch isn't really that. It's somewhere intermediary between like an actual builder, like an engineer in TFT, Torbjorn or Symmetra, the way they used to be in Overwatch, and kind of an in-between thing like you have with Penny here or with Torch, right, as he is right now. Even Penny doesn't take that much setup. You could plop down her webs, but her webs disappear, and then you lose out on what you basically set up in the first place. And they disappear too fast, and you just lose out on it. But the best part of her kit, and the coolest part of her kit, is the webs, and that's not something you can extensively use or use on a regular occasion.
With her original, while also dropping armor packs. Meanwhile, Penny ramps up Rocket's Battle Reverse
cool.
Beacon so that it now spawns cyber webs, spider germs, and arachno mice. However, the enhanced beacon and the original can be active at the same time.
What?
When Iron Man leaves
Yes,
the
two
track
respawn
as the
beacons?
team
What?
at mice. However, now
Does that function as a
Penny
respawn
ramps
beacon?
up Rocket's Battle Reverse Beacon so that it now spawns cyber webs, spider germs, and arachno mice. However, the enhanced beacon and the original can be active at the same time.
What?
When Iron Man leads the charge as the team-up anchor alongside our
Does that mean you have 2 res beacons? That would be insane. I mean, his res beacon right now is actually pretty good just to begin with because you won't actually lose it when he dies. That's actually ridiculous if true.
Ultron, things get seriously high-tech. Ultron taps into part of Iron Man's armor might, gaining the power to fire potent unibeam lasers that pierce everything in their path, damaging enemies while healing teammates. Storm, the team-up anchor, and Jeff can combine their might when both of their ultimates are ready, unleashing the fearsome Jeff Nado. Storm directs the soaring Jeff Nado, dealing sustained damage over time before ultimately devouring enemies.
I don't actually know how that works. I thought the Jeff would actually be a projectile spinning around, so if you get hit by the Jeff, you take a shitload of damage.
Ups are being completely removed. Cheering charisma, allied agents, ammo overload, and symbiote bond. Additionally, Iron Man will be removed from the Gamma Charge team up.
Alright. So they just don't have one? This is Ultra now?
In Season 2.0, with heroes like Captain America, Iron Fist, Human Torch, and the arrival of Emma Frost, our battlefield distance shrank. This meant that squad positioning often got tangled, with agile heroes dashing past enemy vanguards to strike at backline targets, and backline heroes forced into dangerous engagements. This all resulted in a heightened emphasis on team coordination, laser-focused targeting, protective strategies, and precise positioning to back the wing. High mobility lineups, think Venom Spider-Man and Captain America Iron Fist, were wreaking havoc on the field in Season 2.0. On the flip side, teams using Groot Wars in tandem with Winter Soldier, Namor,
Robot Edwin, good morning.
Mr. Fantastic, and The Thing could
I mean, at this point you could be.
counter these swift adversaries. Meanwhile, the triple strategies better with their stellar sustain and protection.
Are you talking about him?
Also work well against.
So, both of these guys probably do not speak English as a primary language or even regularly, and they probably rehearse this, and they're enunciating. If you're talking about the way he's talking right now, he enunciates so he doesn't fuck it up, and that's kind of the way that it works. Yeah, so it's once again, it's probably because he rehearsed what he says right now, so it doesn't sound bad, but at the same time, because he's not a native English speaker, it doesn't flow properly. Yeah, so I wouldn't fault him for it. He could be saying this in Chinese right now, and I'll be reading his translations. We're looking at translation. I turned this on, by the way, because the bottom one, while it's there, is smaller, and it's harder to read than the auto translations, which do a pretty good job. Yeah. No, it's totally because he rehearsed it, and once again, good for him that he actually did. Basically, everyone understands English, where not everyone understands Chinese as it goes. English is basically the universal language, even though more people speak Chinese, I believe, than any other language in the world. I think it's Chinese, Mandarin. But putting that aside, everyone else, basically, if you have a second language, it's always English, right? That's just the way it works. But he probably doesn't speak English regularly, nor did the other guy. But so they rehearse essentially what they're saying right now, which makes it kind of sound kind of, you know,
Dive and high mobility
robotic.
threats. All of this reflect the rock, paper, scissors dynamic between different lineups. And let's not forget the powerhouse team-up abilities like Emma Frost, Magneto, Psylocke, Hawk, Iron Man, Namor, Doctor
I don't like the clones. Like I mentioned before, guys, they could change the clones, and we talked about this a little bit. They could change the clones. Clones right now are really, really difficult to use. One, because it makes it feel like her aim is fucked up when you're using it. I don't know why. It feels like it actually affects your aim, which is really weird. But when you're using it, it's so difficult to maneuver the clone and get it into position that oftentimes it just fucks off and you never see it again as it goes. But if they made it where when you clone yourself, instead of cloning, your position, basically what you're looking at, essentially being the character, is the same spot, so you don't move. But instead, it pops two clones out of your side, so your character's invisible. And you're basically in a third person from nothing, and the two characters are basically tethered to each other, and they go back and forth, and they reach a max tether distance where they won't split, and they start moving side to side with each other. So they can make it where the characters have a max tether distance so they stick together better, and at the same time they move back and forth over the top of each other. And you're basically controlling the real one from your position, which is now invisible, right? It would actually be really, really fucking cool, and it would allow you to control the character much better. Arguably might be too good at what it does, because it basically allows you to have essentially double the HP pool. Not really, because if they kill the right one, you'll still die. But it makes it much more difficult because they will literally have problems shooting at the right target because they don't know which is which. It's the idea of being trying to confuse yourself, more like a clone from like ninjutsus or like anime, right? Where you have a clone that sticks heavily together to the actual side of the character. Right now, when you split in half, you're still the same character, which is arguably probably much easier to do. You split in half, right? And if you strafe too far to the side, the guy just goes and runs into a wall and then gets fucked. So it's very, very difficult to use it. They could 100% change it and make it better without just buffing the damage. Like usability tweaks to it, which we talked about, which is definitely something they could do.
Plus the Fantastic Four, all proving to be titans on the field.
Thing needs help. We talked about that when he
We
released. A lot of people
recognize that
clapped at him, but he's basically just a giant bowling
frontline
ball.
push tactics saw their competitiveness decline in Season 2.0, while high mobility lineups resulted in faster, more intense, and sometimes exhausting matches. Therefore, in Season 2.5, we are adjusting some of the overbearing
Captain America
heroes,
is pretty oppressive
and
right
with
now.
the arrival of the flying strategist Ultron, new team compositions and strategies will emerge. For Vanguard heroes, we are nerfing Groot while giving Doctor Strange and Magneto a modest buff. We've also observed that Captain America's enduring
They're buffing
survivability
Strange after you got
and
nerfed.
Emma
I
Frost
mentioned before, guys, and I still think this is the case. Doctor Strange has a very unique gameplay. He is like a turtle, right? He pops his head out. He's a snappy turtle. He pops his head out, shoots you, and goes back into his turtle shell. He pops his head out, back and forth, right? He does this thing. He does the snapping turtle thing. And if you get to his meaty innards, he should be very easy to kill, but he's not. Instead, they nerfed basically his snap, and they nerfed his shell, and they just they nerfed his HP pool a little bit, but what I think is they should actually revert his shield nerfs and revert his damage nerfs, and then nerf his HP down to like 500. Might even be lower than that. I guarantee you still is going to be played. Once again, how he's played which makes him very unique, isn't that he's just a generic tank, right? It is the snapping turtle attack, where he just, he goes back between his shell, which is, maybe it's not the way they planned it, but it's the way the character's being used, right? So where he goes back and forth between attacking and shielding, back and forth, and sometimes whipping, attacking, and shielding, right? He goes back and forth between all of these, which is honestly probably the best part of his kit. So, as I mentioned before, I think they kind of went the wrong direction, where there's always kind of a... developers oftentimes just go back to the damage and HP pool, is the way it works. You nerf survivability, you just remove HP, you nerf damage, you just remove the raw damage number, right? But it usually wrecks characters when they do that enough. And in the case of Captain America, they could augment his unique part of his kit, which is the snapping turtle, and then nerf his HP pool, so when you get to the juicy nougat, it's pretty meaty, right? And it make it so there's unique ways of encountering his character right now. For instance, if he's shielding or turtling, you just go in and you start meleeing him. It's just the way it works until he stops turtling, and then you kill him normally, or you attack him normally, right? Which I don't know if most people know that. There's a lot of people that just shoot his shield when he's alone, which is really weird. You just go up and start meleeing him because it goes through his shield, and eventually he just dies.
Diamond form have been a bit too dominant.
Emma is very, very oppressive in Diamond. It's not even the Diamond form. It's the fact that if she gets near enough to you to kick you, you die. It's just the way it works. If you get hit by her Diamond combo, and there's lots of ways they could do it while still maintaining the damage that she does in the Diamond combo, like making it longer after she goes Diamond, before she can kick you. Make it easier to tell that she's in Diamond in the first place before she can melee you and kill you. Make it easier to tell when she's in melee in the first place, and make it so it's more of an alert thing. And then make it so it takes longer after she turns into Diamond before she can actually do it in the first place. Because right now is when she turns into Diamond, you don't see it in time, and then she kicks you and grabs you, kicks you, strangles you, usual.
Adjustment there too. For duelists, we will be nerfing Iron Fist, Human Torch, and Psylocke, while providing modest buff to the Punisher,
What?
Squirrel, and Storm.
What? Too many people
Opening
played
up a
Psylocke. The
whole
fuck is
new
this?
realm of the tactical
Psylocke's been the same since the
possibilities.
game launched.
For strategists, after enhancing some heroes,
I was too good. They couldn't handle my overwhelming power, guys. He's too good. He knows too much. Get rid of Psylocke. He knows. He knows, guys. He knows. Oh, we can't let him play Psylocke anymore. Yeah. Which is basically the case, because if we're basically allowed to actually do the amount of damage that I'm supposed to be able to do on Psylocke, I literally run over the enemy team. Well, I don't run over. I can assassinate pretty much anyone and carry the game. The problem emerges when I'm doing half damage instead of full damage, and I point it out pretty regularly because it absolutely grates me the wrong way. That probably means we're going to end up having to play a different character like Spider-Man or something. Since Spider-Man's protected by Necros, we could probably learn to play Spider-Man, and he just kind of just never get nerfed because Necros plays him, right?
Opening up a whole new realm. Torch. For
Also,
duelists,
Squirrel Girl doesn't need buffs. She's actually pretty good right now, just no one plays her. Storm is also still very good, just no one plays her.
we will be nerfing Iron Fist,
Torch.
Human.
Once again, the best part of Torch that they never fixed was his area denial, and instead they turned him into a left-click hero, which is very oppressive because he does a lot of damage, but that's basically his shtick, is just left click, and dive on you. Iron Fist, I would say, isn't even that powerful. You guys can't see the graphic. Iron Fist, I wouldn't even say is that powerful. The problem with Iron Fist is his weird desync with his attacks makes it so it's very difficult to aim at him when he's on your dick. If they smoothed that out, they wouldn't even need to touch his damage. The problem with this character is the fact that your shots don't connect properly with him. And I think there's a lot to do with latency. Desync of the model itself and his attack chain fucks it up. It makes it very difficult to shoot his character. So,
Touch, and Psylocke, while providing modest buff to the Punisher,
Storm didn't need to be buffed.
Squirrel Girl, and Storm.
What is this? Neither Squirrel Girl nor Storm needed to be buffed, guys. And both are getting buffed. Squirrel Girl is already pretty good. You just no one plays her. It's just the way it goes. She does a shitload of damage. Storm is also still very good. Just no one plays her. It's nothing to do with her being a bad character. She is a very good character. She didn't get nerfed into the ground. People just, even when, so I pointed this out, I think it was 2 days ago on a stream. I pointed this out 2 days ago on the stream. Even though Storm, even back before she got any nerfs, after she was OP as shit, no one played her in quick play. No one did. It has nothing to do with her being bad. It's just no one wanted to play her. For whatever reason, no one wanted to play the character. It's just the way it goes. Even now, we see more people playing, although even Torch isn't played that much, even though he is still very good. No one plays him in quick play. Conversely, Iron Man has probably played more, even though he's not nearly as good as Storm or Torch. Just people want to play certain characters.
Of the tactical possibilities. For strategists, after enhancing
They're pushing
some
Storm back in.
heroes mid-season in Season 2.0, we are now giving Luna Snow an increase to her ultimate ability energy requirements in exchange for a mid-boost in her standard abilities to keep the overall pace in check in Season 2.5.
He has a really long ult.
Jeff the Land Shark will also receive a partial
Luna.
adjustment for a fraction.
Luna right now still does a shitload of healing. I don't know why she needs buffs, but I guess this is one of those cases where healers seem to think that they need to have buffs in order to offset nerfs to a character when they're too strong, which is kind of silly. Luna has an extremely long ult. Arguably, all the defensive ults for the healers are extremely good, right? Any of the healing ones, Cloak, Invisible Woman, and Luna are all extremely good. And arguably, Rocket is now, but Rocket's still not that powerful because you can kill it. You can destroy his ult, right? And then it basically ends it. Putting aside the fact it doesn't actually heal that much as Invisible Woman or Cloak or Luna. I think all three of those are actually heal more, than Rocket's ult. But at the same time, you also they didn't get nerfs at all, and people still play Rocket. They play the the Wall Roach. They play the Wall Roach pretty often. Luna definitely does not need buffs. She needs nerfs. All the defensive heroes, the entire game still works around defensive ults. Even though they nerf them, it still rotates around defensive ults.
Experience.
Jeff is still pretty good. People just don't play him. Jeff's still a good healer.
Lastly, we are dialing back the power for some of the most dominant team-up abilities, such as the Fantastic Four, the Hulk pairing, and the Emma Frost Magneto Psylocke team-up. These refinements combined with
they're going to nerf the amount of damage that Psylocke's ult does, or Clone does, and probably Magneto too.
Experience. And that's not all. The details above are just a taste of what's coming. For more in-depth balance updates, keep an eye out for
we're going to see the patch notes here in a sec.
Announcements. Stay tuned, as we will also be releasing the Season 2.0 hero pick race and win race very soon. Until next time, keep fighting, keep strategizing, and as always, ignite the battle.
Ignite the battle, guys! Alright. Well, interesting. Let's see. Okay, that's out of the way. Let's take a look at the patch notes here, guys. Difference between the two. What are these, like a general patch notes? Store, Sovereign Bundle, Avatar Bundle, Gala Moments, stuff that I don't do in the game. Use default custom voice option has been added under settings audio. So this is another one. I have the one on where basically there's no custom audio in the game. So this is per character. So you can do it as the character, or you can also do it as basically the person on the opposite end. So either the person with the skin or the person that's listening to the skin. Right? Oh my god. Oh, you shitbird. They must be printing money because those ads are pretty common on Kick. Weird. Okay. Players can now have 5 sprays at once on the battlefield. Sorcerer Supreme's ultimate ability could sometimes meddle with Human Torch's primary attack. That stopped him from attacking? Sometimes Emma switch to her diamond form. Textures from her own perspective would glitch out. She's now flawless both inside and out. When Fantastic would stretch his way through Doctor Strange's portal, he'd sometimes veer off in the wrong direction. He wouldn't go through at all. Interesting. Bug report. Okay, what do we have here for patch notes, guys? Captain America, nerfs. 25 HP nerf. Increase delay of shield recovery from 2 to 4 seconds after unleashing Living Legend. Is Living Legend his ult? On it? Oh no, that's this other website. marvelrivals.gg. Can't click on it here either. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Living Legend. Wait, is this the thing I suggested to nerf him? I talked about this on stream a couple different times. Increases the delay shield recovery from 2 to 4 seconds after unleashing Living Legend. Or is that where he drops to the ground? Shoulder slams where he dashes to the ground. Increased delay of shield recovery from 2 to 4 seconds after unleashing Living... I don't know why they say unleashing. This makes it sound like it's an attack. After you stop using the shielding ability, you can't use it again for 4 seconds. Okay. So... Wait. I'd say cooldown 1 second. Oh, the shield recovery. No. This isn't how fast you can bring it up. This is the HP pool on the shield takes 4 seconds before it starts back up. Okay, that's also a pretty big nerf. It means his shield's going to drain a lot faster. and he can't micromanage it nearly as well. I suggested that they make it where when he drops his shield, he can only bring it back up after a certain amount of time, so it makes you pick when you're using it versus when you're not using it, and leaves you vulnerable for a certain amount of time. It's just kind of the same thing. Increase the energy cost of freedom charge, ultimate ability from 2800 to 3100. I don't think the biggest thing that's going to affect his gameplay right here is his shield change, which his shield is, I don't want to say oppressive, is very good. It's very defensive. Strange is receiving a buff. As I mentioned before, once again, I do think that Doctor Strange, they should revert his damage nerfs and his shield nerfs, and instead drop his HP pool down to like 500 or so. And this will promote basically the snapping turtle kind of gameplay that Doctor Strange has, and without robbing his character of basically what it's known for, and still be pretty potent. But at the same time, if you get into that juicy nougat, he's basically done, right? Range fall off of Maelstrom of Madness. This is left click. Oh, nope, that is his bubble, where he does bubble damage. Bubble damage is extremely good, so, yeah. It doesn't actually list the amount or distance. Increases range of telepathic pulse, which I believe is her laser beam. Yeah. Decrease the shield value of Mind's Aegis from 500 to 400. That's her diamond that she shoots out the shield. Increases cooldown to Carbon Crush from 5 to 6 seconds, which I believe is her chokehold on you that kills you. That's the combo ability. Yeah, that's where she body slams you. Increases the hit damage of Crystal Kick from 50 to 40. Decreases extra damage dealt when propelling the enemies into wall from 100 to 90. So overall combo damage is going to be reduced by 20, which might give you a chance to survive the combo if you're a 250 HP hero. Assuming that you are at full HP. Carbon Crush is 30. Crystal Kick is now 130 instead of 150. Yeah, so you can do 150 plus 30. That means 180 right now with the combo. It feels like a lot more than that. It must mean you're low on HP whenever she hits me. Maybe they do a melee before they do that. Still not. That's 210 out of a 250 hero, right? I didn't know. I thought her combo was a full 250. It's not. Huh. So she gets bonus down. I never played Emma. She gets bonus damage from slamming you into a wall. But if she doesn't, she loses a lot of damage. I didn't even know that. Whenever she does that, that basically means you're already down 80 HP. HP. That means you're normally down 70 HP when she attacks you straight off the bat. And TikTok asking me to do CAPTCHAs. Of course it is. I thought it was a full 250 HP. Interesting. Be curious to see how this affects her ability to kill you in the game. She's very, very potent right now. Like I said, it feels an awful lot like she just drops you from 250 to 0 with her combo when you're close enough. Groot decreased damage of Vine Strike from 70 to 65. I believe the Vine Strike is the part of his kit that comes out of the walls. So if you guys didn't know, the walls, if you're close enough to them, actually hit you. No. No, it's not. This is just his left click. When awakened, it strikes nearby enemies attacked by Groot and his allies, yes. 60 damage every 0.5 seconds. Critical itself deals no damage, while Spore Bomb itself deals 55 damage. Spore Bomb explodes into 6 explosive spores. Spore does 10 damage. I swear that all the spores just hit you. I swear I never actually see the spores. They just always pop on your model and then you hit them automatically. I don't know if that's buggy or intended, but it seems like the extra damage from this never actually shows up to the point where you can either evade it or deal with it. Like, it doesn't drop things on the ground that you then just walk around. Might be what they're originally going for. Slight boost to standard damage. He's now going to track some winds now. Increases charging speed of rings from 4 to 3 a stack. That's his icicle damage, if I remember right. His steel dildo he shoots out. Big cannon. First charge does 40, second does 65, and third does 90. So it's charging 25% faster. Iron Rings. It doesn't actually talk about charge speed of Iron Rings by default. It talks about when it's fully charged. Shield grants 1 charge of Iron Ring for every 100 damage it absorbs. I didn't know that. So interesting. Bubble someone, like much like Zarya, you bubble someone in combat, they will take significantly more damage, or you'll be able to do more damage after they take damage. It doesn't talk about the default charge speed. Well, it goes from 4 to 3 seconds now. per stack. So it means he can use a fully charged one every 9 instead of every 12 seconds. Hammer throw effect to a standard ability removes the Thor Force cost and universal cooldown. Hammer throw is almost never used. That's where you chuck your hammer out, but it uses your charges and means you can't go into his lightning form, or maybe it's just his lightning form that uses it. It's been a while. I played a shitload of him in beta. Storm Surge. And Awakening allows him to throw lightning. Hammer throw almost never used. He uses a finisher. Doesn't do that much damage. $70 damage. What does a lot of damage is when you do Awakening instead. You throw lightning bolts. So now you can use it whenever you want. I don't know exactly how that's works. I mean, I guess you just use it when you're saving up for lightning mode. They reduce the damage from 70 to 45, so a huge damage nerf, and return damage from 30 to 20, so it mostly does 65 as opposed to 100. I guess. It is a 6-second cooldown, so it's not really even spammable. I don't know why they do this. Decrease the shield value gained when consuming Thor Force. Reduce survivability. This isn't really even a buff. I'd say this is a nerf to him. I mean, you can use his hammer throw whenever you want now. It doesn't really do that much damage anyways, so is it really even that big of a deal? It doesn't do that much damage to begin with. It has a 6-second cooldown, and chances are you're going to be trying to close the distance anyways to actually attack the player. Hawkeye's going back up. They nerfed him. Hawkeye doesn't... I'd say Hawkeye still gets played a decent chunk. There's people that like playing him, like Hanzo. Increase base damage from 32 to 34. Reduces projectile damage from blast arrow from 15 to 16. That's a reduction. Excuse me, that's an increase. Why does it say it's reducing the projectile damage? Increase spell field damage from 32 to 34. Reduce the projectile damage of blast arrow from 15 to 16. You mean increase it? What? Ah, so it's wrong. I think they already fixed it. So this is a copy-paste of the official patch notes, and I guess there's a typo, and they fixed it already. Yeah, so here it's increased. Bug report, it's fixed already. Marvelrivals.gg didn't get the memo, though. And but one of the reason we're here, by the way, is because it has easy access to the characters and abilities it's talking about. I think in other patch notes, what they do is they actually have the ability here, and you can hover over it, and it literally shows you the ability that it's talking about. Makes it much easier to understand. But, I mean, you can cross-reference. It's not that big of a deal. Increases maximum focus from 70 to 75, increasing charging speed when aiming at an enemy from 100 to 108, and charge fall-off speed from 30 to 32. I believe that means he does more maximum damage. Its ability can knock down flying heroes. I don't think I even noticed when I get hit by that. I used to not notice when I got hit by that. Piercing. Bonus damage 0 to 70. Okay, so it's not actually multiplicative. It's maximum focus. It's just extra damage. They added 5 damage to his normal attack. How fast it charges, which is 108 a second. 30 to 32. Falls off faster now. As always with Hawkeye and with some of the changes they do to him, you gotta wait till you see, like, wait till they use him in the game and like you play against him in the game and see how he turns out. So some buff and changes you have to, buffs and nerfs you have to basically feel them out in the game itself as opposed to theorizing about them. Hela gets buffs again. At what point does Hela really need buffs, guys? Is really the question I want to ask here is when do we actually need Hela buffs? When have we ever needed Hela buffs? That's a really good question, guys. 1 second, I'm going to go wash my coffee cup, guys, and grab a soda. I'll be back before it gets too late. Oh, wrong screen. You're back. What if we needed Hela? All right. When has Hela ever needed buffs? Never. The answer is never. She's never needed buffs. Nightsword Thorn, I believe, is her explosive attack that she flings at you and they explode after like 2 seconds. Nightsword Thorn. Nope, that's a left click. Charge capacity of Nightsword Thorn from 8 to 10. Ah, that's her ammo capacity increase. Okay. So once again, Torch, as I mentioned before, guys, and I still think so. Thanks for the likes on TikTok, by the way, guys. I appreciate it. Torch, as I mentioned before, guys, and I still think so, is literally all about the area denial. It's about the fire piles on the ground, and if they actually fixed it and made it work properly, and made them connect well, as opposed to just jerking, they have to reprogram them. Right now, it's like, from what I've seen, so the premeditated way of, like, the range on them is so fucking huge, guys. If you actually know, like, kind of the tech, or not even tech, if you know where to place them properly, because it goes through walls and areas, you can literally wall off an entire segment of a point, and literally no one can step foot on the point without getting hit by the fire piles. It is so incredibly broken, but at the same time, it's next to impossible to do in the heat of combat when you're just using the character normally. It's something you literally just have to just kind of cheese. It's literally like cheese. And the alternate part of his kit, which is also extremely oppressive, is his left clicks, which they basically just turned him into more of a shotgun hero, right? And I honestly, like, I thought the cool part of his character was the flames, right? And instead they just kind of, they turned him into more of an auto attack character, which, like a Punisher, like consistent damage. Just left click, and then body drop on the ground, whatever that is, E. which is a shame because his character has a lot of effort being put into the fire piles, right? The area denial of making shapes and whatever on the ground, whatever you want it to be, pentagons, rectangles, triangles. And if they actually fixed it properly, which I mentioned multiple times when we played Torch when he first came out, the character would be in a much better place. So now they have to nerf his left click because his left click is extremely oppressive right now. It is busted as shit. Basically, you get the right attack and you just explode someone's face. Reduces the damage of fire cluster, which is the left click, from 7 to 6. Increase the charge speed of blazing blast from 2 to 3 seconds. I believe those are his cinder piles. Decreases shield value gain from flaming meteor from 75 to 50. And increases cooldown from 15 to 20. Flaming meteor is where you hit the ground and basically finish people off. 50 damage is almost to the point where it's not worth using. I don't think they should nerf that. Once again, it wasn't really that, and they could even make a unique effect where when you use it, like inside, like if they added additional effects to when you're in the fire and you have people ignited, much like a MOBA, you could make some really cool stuff, right? Like if someone is inside of the square, so you set up the square and then you dive them, it gives you not only a bonus to you can even set him on fire, so then he starts doing damage. His forte is really his AoE and setting up the premeditated, or not to the point where you're doing it well before the enemies arrive, but doing it in the heat of combat, being in control of an area, and then setting up the area and forcing enemies out of that area is what makes him really cool. And instead they just turned him into a left-click champ, which, you can have those. You can have a Punisher, right? But that's not really who this character is, right? Unless they want him to be that, which I don't think so. And if they made his meteor instead, where it has additional effects and it turns it into more of playing around his areas that he sets up, and then if he dives on it, then he gets a progressive AoE damage buff on his character that just kind of spins around him or something. So he heats up, right? He does more damage, or they could even give him a heat gauge. There's a lot of really cool shit you could do right here, where basically the more damage he does, he becomes more oppressive, and they could even change his. There's a lot of cool things you could do. You could change his character, and make him look hotter when it's happening too, right? It's more of like it turns into more of a kind of a berserk kind of play style when it's happening too. There's a lot of really cool stuff they could do instead of just left click, meteor drop. But I'm not them. I also definitely didn't help design part of Helldivers 2. Officially. It's funny, like all the things we talked about on stream and I suggested, and once again, we haven't really went back to it because one of the biggest problems I had with Helldivers 2 is they literally just gutted the difficulty in the game, and they never brought it back, by the way. The community will gaslight you, because I was talking with someone on their lyric stream, and the community will 100%, oh, the weapons just were nerfed, that's why I was bitten. No, the game was much, much more difficult at one point. Much more difficult at one point. And they nerfed that sucker into the ground because the community bitched so hard about it. And it still is easy mode for the game, so. And I was talking with someone on Twitter, and they said, oh, there's 15, the original game had 15 difficulty. Yeah, they haven't added a single difficulty since the Diff 10, and that's when basically right before I left, and all it was just the new Diff 9 is all it was. It's the same thing, only it's Diff 10 now. That's basically right where I left. Yeah, it didn't do anything, so. And I think I was watching, who was I watching? Oh, Baru. I was watching Baru yesterday, and he said he played on Diff 5, and he's playing on Diff 10, and there's like no difference, no noticeable difference for him. And I was like, what? We went from I played Helldivers 2 for fucking 8 months, guys. That was a long time. Went from Dark Souls difficulty to easier than COD Zombies, and you're like, you can have this difficulty. You can have easier than COD Zombies. It's just not supposed to be Diff 10, Just, oh god. There's so many things in that game that I just kind of, remember we talk about missed opportunity, guys. Helldivers 2 is definitely that case. They still have a lot going for them. There's still a lot of people playing, don't get me wrong, but oh god, that game could have been so much more than what it is right now. And same thing with PlanetSide 2. PlanetSide 2 still exists, by the way, and 2 decades, decade and a half later, still exists, but it could have been so much more than it currently is. PlanetSide 2, H1Z1, H1Z1 popped and fizzled. H1Z1 basically had free reign over the Battle Royale genre for a year and a half, and they just did squat. It was like fucking Overwatch. They just didn't do anything with it. They just started adding skins and microtransactions when they should have been adding guns to make things fresh and new. Anyways, Human Torch. Human Torch. The cool thing about his character, once again, going back to the trough of generic buffs and nerfs of HP pull for survivability nerf or buff, and DPS, primary DPS nerf or buff, that should be like one of the last things you do. You know, obviously if it's completely out of control, sure. And there are some basic characters that are just basically HP pulls and damage numbers. Hella, Punisher, right? They have some variance to it, but a lot of it rotates just purely around left clicks and how much damage you can take. And that's it. Torch is not one of them. Torch is a pretty cool character. I really hope they do him good at some point here, and left click champion is not what he should be. Iron Fist. Iron Fist, as I mentioned before, and we were talking about during the development commentary, is probably he doesn't really even need nerfs, I would say. The problem with this character is how hard it is to shoot the character when he's on your dick. When he's riding you, it is very hard to it's something to do with the player being at a higher latency, the desync with his character model jerking around, and his animation just naturally jerking around when it's happening makes him extremely difficult to actually hit, like Star-Lord when he's doing his spin attack, where he goes like this in the fucking air, right? It makes it very difficult to shoot his character, but he's still easier to shoot than Iron Fist is when he's riding you. So, yeah. But they probably aren't going to deal with that. That's probably a harder issue to deal with than just HP pull and damage, right? Lowers radiant defense, damage block, bonus, health conversion rate from 1.5 to 1.3. That's how much health he gets back from the bing-bings. Decrease the maximum bonus health converted from damage block from 200 to 175, so he maxes out 175 now. Used to be 250 if I remember right. Slightly decreases the dash distance of Yachun-kun's in the Z-axis direction when there is no target, so he can't run away as easily. Reduces Drain's defense cooldown reduction from Jikundu, hits from 1.5 to 1 second. That's where he basically can get his block shield back up faster. Once again, I don't think the problem with his character really is not his block. And, I mean, it is oppressive, but the problem is your ability to do damage to him when he's vulnerable does not work properly. And it has a lot to do with, I don't know, his DDA, as we talked about the damage reduction possibly just being intentional. But there are clearly cases where you're just shooting through his model when he's just like, you know, just walking towards you like this and he just doesn't take any damage. It's something to do with his broken model or desync or his animations or something, but it makes his character very, very difficult to kill. Putting aside his block. This is completely regardless of his block damage and his ability to regenerate his block. Normally when you fight him, you don't survive long enough to see another block anyway, so it doesn't even matter if he regenerates it. It's the fact that you can't actually seemingly do appropriate amounts of damage to him when he's attacking you, which is really weird. I don't really understand that. He does need nerfs, but it's more of just needing his character to be fixed, right? Iron Man. I love Iron Man. They're still just a a right-click champion because he uses laser beam. It's all about getting into position with his laser and lasering people, and that's it. I really wish I'm not looking at the notes yet. As I mentioned before, I really wish they'd increase his agility. It's his ability to shift. He's pretty durable now. A lot to do with his character model being smaller. Makes him very difficult to shoot for whatever reason. His player model has to be absolutely tiny. But the problem is shifting between the modes. Shifting between his flight to his fire to his charge up. You go through an animation stun lock. Mr. Fantastic has his problems too. You go through an animation stun lock where you just kind of just playing with your dick, and that's enough time for you to die, which is unfortunate. And he's still a right-click champion. But other than that, he's a really cool character. Iron Man's Overdrive from Team Up, Gamma Charge Team Up, gain a new Team Up anchor effect with Stark Protocol Team Up. Decreases projectile damage of third repulsor blast from 50 to 45 and decreases spell field from 60 to 55. This is a left-click damage. His left clicks aren't even that good. In order to do work as Iron Man, you got to get into position. Bonus health from Armor Overdrive from 100 to 50. I find smaller models than the character model to be disingenuous, and as opposed to reducing basically armor or HP pools, is just changing his model back to be like match his actual model, because there's something really wrong with it when I'm attacking him. I've definitely noticed it's like Iron Fist. It's very difficult to shoot him, and it actually just seems like he has built-in damage reduction. Namor! No, Psylocke! Namor. Cooldown of Blessing of the Deep, which I believe is his invulnerability, from 15 to 20 seconds. Yep. So invulnerability up. Expand Horn of Proteus, ultimate ability. It says ultimate this time. Inner circle radius from 3 meters to 3.5. Outer circle radius from 8 to 9. Decrease outer circle radius hit damage from 200 to 180. So it'll be easier for him to hit players with it. If you get hit by it, unless you're in a team up ult or you have a healer saving you, you'll most likely die because he'll be able to left click you before you get off the ground. Unless he's completely out of position. So I guess it's pretty easy to dodge his whale. Adjust monster spawn damage fall off starting at 20 meters, reducing to 30% at 40. Starting at 20 meters, reducing from 50 to 40. 50% to 40 at 40. Worded kind of weird. So they changed it so his damage fall off goes from, instead of 30% from 20 to 40 meters, it is now 50% at 20 to 40 meters. So same distance, but the damage fall off is higher. This is his creeps. His turrets are very, very powerful, and arguably the most powerful part of his kit, especially his laser team up is insane. Unfortunate. Psylocke! They watched me play her for so long. Decrease the retrieval damage of wing shurikens, which are your right click, from 14 to 12 per hit. Increase invisibility duration of Psylocke's stealth from 3 to seconds. Why would you do that? So she's less likely to actually get into position before she starts attacking? Damage nerf, I can kind of see that. What is her damage now? It's literally just like 2 left clicks and a right click. Kills people. Damage, 12 per round. Fires full, 4 it's in a star. So what is that? 48. 96. 192 damage if you hit all your shots in 2 clicks, left clicks, and wing shurikens out of a 250 HP hero. It's bonus health from shurikens? What? I never recall getting bonus health from her wing shurikens. Is this just happening and I don't notice it? I never noticed. I never fucking noticed the wing shurikens, guys. That's hilarious. I never noticed the bonus health from wing shurikens. You get 10 per wing shuriken. What does a fire? 5. So you get 50 HP from the wing shurikens. Never noticed this. I manifested this with 30 kill games. Never noticed this, guys. I never fucking noticed. Must just be HP. It's not overhealing. It's just HP you get back. So you can get actually potentially 100 HP back per wing shuriken? I never fucking noticed. That's a lot of healing. It doesn't show up in endgame either. Is this correct? 10 health per round, guys. How the fuck would I never notice 100 HP heal? That is crazy. I've played her since launch. You potentially could get 50 HP on the way out and the 50 HP on the way back. Holy shit, guys, we did it. They fucking got tired of me bitched about the no-rags, and when I knew that DDA was on, and they fucking nerfed her. It's crazy, though. So you can potentially get 100 HP. What? There's no way. There's no fucking way that this has been in the game since launch, guys, and I've never fucking noticed the heal. Maybe I just always thought I was getting healed by healer? That's a lot of HP to regen in the middle of combat and just not notice it. That is insane. I guess I also with Thing I didn't notice that he actually got regen off of his right clicks too. They couldn't nerf me with DDA. We had a 50 kill game in here. 27? 53. 35 limbs. Let's see. Fucking DDA kicks in, and you can't kill shit. Oh, it's the fucking shield. Why does it feel like this doesn't always work? Dude, I even commented about the shield before. I thought it was a team up and someone said it was from Luna. Overshield, guys. It only does it on the first enemy. It has to go through another enemy to actually do it again. You can do the damage twice, but it doesn't give you the shield twice. It maxes out at 125. That would also be why I noticed. So you can only get up to 125. Even though it potentially does 10 per hit. But that's still not right. Yeah, so even though it does 10 per hit and 50 per basically attack, It only does up to 75 total instead of 100 for overshield. How the fuck did I never notice this in the game? Does it give it to you when you're full HP, or only when you're low HP? No, it gives it to you all the time. How the fuck did I not notice this, guys? I've been playing Psylocke since launch. How the fuck did I not notice the shield? Holy shit, guys. That is absolutely incredible. No, it's definitely happening. You just don't always get the full 125. It only gives you 75. And it only gives you 50 if all hit. I was doing the shield doesn't always show up as meaningfully because it's not always... If you attack one target, you only get a maximum of 50 overshield. And assuming you get attacked right away, the overshield disappears. And if you attack two targets, you get a maximum of 75. That assumes that you don't get attacked while that's happening, which is extremely rare. So basically, the overshield is just getting eaten during the middle of combat, and I just never really noticed it. That's insane. I remember seeing other Psylocks with it before, and I'm like, how the fuck do they have a shield? And someone in chat at one point told me that it was from Luna's team-up. It was from, not from team-up, it was an ability from Luna. And I was like, or not Luna, Mantis. And I was like, I've never gotten that before. What the fuck are you talking about? No, it's literally, you literally get a team-up, guys. You get an overshield from your right clicks. Oh my god. But it's so small that you generally don't even notice it when it's happening, because everyone always attacks you the moment that you show up, and you just lose it instantly. Assuming you only, if you're attacking the same target, so you never get the extra 25. So basically it maxes out at 50 per assassination attempt, and if someone attacks you immediately, you pretty much lose it, and that assumes that you hit all 5 of them to begin with. Oh, that's incredible, guys. Yeah, developers got tired. Developers got tired of me talking about DDA, guys, and decided to nerf Psylocke. However, 14 to 12, so it's 2 left clicks and then a right click is usually what kills people. Absolutely insane. And it does bonus damage. It does damage on the first hit and the second pull away out of the target, but does not give you the HP from the pull out of the target. When you pull out, you don't get HP back. It's not bonus health, it's shield. It's bonus shield. Over shield. Not bonus health. $14 per hit, so this is 192. And this is an additional, what would that be, 50, 70 damage. So 162 theoretical maximum damage, or 262 theoretical maximum damage for 2 left clicks and a right click, which should be enough to kill people, especially when you match it with a dash for any projectiles that wander off. So the dash is usually the filler when I know that basically my shots aren't registering properly or doing the right amount of damage. I'll have to dash through them to finish them off, which is, I think, 30 damage. It's 50. So that's 262. That's 312 now, right? And dashing through the target should be more than enough to kill a 250 HP hero. So they nerfed her damage from 14 to 12? It's already being updated. This is already updated for the new patch notes. No, I miscalculated that. No, I calculated it right. This 2 left clicks is technically 4 attacks because it's left click. It's a 2-shot burst. Left click, but you only click once. I calculated it right, so it was actually higher than that. 14, 28, 56. So you're losing out on 16 damage per left click, 32 overall damage. Which, per combo, what did I say, 312? Two... Just trying to work this out in my mind. Bet they are. Or don't post Discord links in my chat, though. That is legit someone that's probably trying to steal my organs again. Can't do a purge on kick? There we go. That's probably someone that's trying to get your social security number and get you to buy something again. So 2 damage times 4 would be 8, and it's a double attack, so 16, so technically 32 damage per rotation. Cycle, as I call it. 32 damage out of, what, 312? A calculator here. $102, $152. Yeah, I didn't calculate that right. No, it's 224. 2 left clicks is 224. $294 without a dash, and with a dash it's an additional 50. 344. So left click, right click, and a dash is 344 damage, and now it's reduced to, what did I say, 32? $344 to 8, 16, 32. So it's reducing it about 32. Oh my fucking god, dude. They aren't. You guys are bots. Get out of here. Let's see. Tricks. There we go. Figure. There we go. Done and done. Okay. Where were we now? So 344 to... They dropped it by 32, which is like 10%? Yeah, so 344 was the original combo damage, and they dropped it by 32. Which is actually pretty substantial. Even though it's 2 damage, it's actually a lot of damage. That's about 10% of your combo damage, and considering you usually need the dash, which is an additional 50 damage to finish people off. Yeah, per rotation or cycle, as I call it, per cycle, you're losing basically about 10%. Losing about 10% of your damage. Which is actually, like, that's quite a bit. Considering you might be right on the edge of finishing people off or turning into a consistent damage hero. Her stealth nerf, you can work around that. That's unfortunate. Her Shuriken nerfs definitely nerfs her ability to single cycle people. Once again, if they're fast enough, they can respond to it in time. But that's not always the case. Unless they have DD on and we're doing half damage to them. So, there's also that. Yeah, where NetEase decides all of a sudden that I can't do full damage. That's something. Well, we'll see how she plays out after this launches. Yeah. Definitely got her nerfed, guys. Wasn't it, like, the weird thing about this is Psylocke really hasn't changed since launch, putting aside the fact she got a team-up bonus. She's basically been this way since launch, and it wasn't, the kids didn't even figure out that she was good. Well, this good. I guess, I'm not even saying she's that good. She's comfortably to the point where she doesn't get banned every match, like Torch or Storm was getting, or Hella was getting at one point. She's just like comfortably at the highest end of power level you can obtain without actually just catching bans constantly. And it's weird that they actually went out of their way to nerf her when she's still not getting banned frequently. Well, maybe she's now. Marvel Rivals ban. What? Hulk's getting banned now? What are you fucking talking about? There's no way. I guess we haven't been playing ranked. Hulk's getting... Why is Hulk getting banned? What? So, check this out, guys. Assuming this is remotely correct, he has a 42% ban rate, guys. That's absolutely absurd. That is absolutely insane. Considering I haven't heard anyone bitch about Hulk. I have heard about Groot mainly due to his spam, but Hulk I haven't heard at all. He has a 42% ban rate? Why? He wasn't buffed, was he? He has a 0.83% ban rate in Season 1.5. And now he has a 42% ban rate in Season 2? Hi. Any more? I swear I haven't seen Hulk banned like at all when watching other people's streams. Huh. That's pretty ridiculous, guys. Torch I've definitely seen banned, and I've seen plenty of people complain about him. Hulk, he must be getting banned in lower elo? Yeah. No, I mean, this is still Celestial. Because of his laser squids? What the fuck? What? He is definitely getting banned in lower tiers. Like, it starts going down when you go up the MMR. Why does he have a 40% ban rate? I don't understand this at all, guys. Okay, so anyways, I didn't come here to look at Hulk, but Hulk apparently is banned in 42% of games, which is absolutely absurd. Putting that aside, Psylocke is banned 1.28% of matches. Why is she getting nerfed? Why is she getting nerfed, guys? Even the community doesn't think she's that broken. What? Look at this. Magic, 0% ban rate. What? Oh, this is just... Oh, they don't have bans. Never mind. Her bands start now. Gold? Yeah. Psylocke has a 0.45% in gold. .58% in diamond. Grandmaster's 1.96%. Look at everyone that's above Psylocke, guys, including Black Panther. Black Panther gets banned more than Psylocke does, and Black Panther has problems with his character. 8.4% in Celestial. $12.2 in Eternity. And 15 in One Above All. Spider-Man, Iron Fist, and Human Torch are all above her. Although, Spider-Man did get nerfed. And this is in the top, 1% of the player base, in which she is in getting banned in 20% of matches, 90% of matches. Oh my fucking god. Botrix, the fuck is going on here? Oh, maybe I didn't save. And clearly bots now. Guys, why is Psylocke catching nerfs? Oh, the Wolverine. Wolverine basically has got nerfs, and he's maybe we'll have to learn to play Magic. Magic can be pretty fun. Single-handedly got Psylocke nerfed. She's rated C tier. She's rated C tier, guys. How the fuck did she get nerfs? Without them watching my stream, obviously. Look at this. The higher up you go, the worse she's rated. And the further down you go, the less bans she has. Why is she getting nerfs, guys? What the fuck, devs? I get it. You don't like me talking about DDA on my stream. That just means I'm going to learn to... Black Panther, like, arguably, probably more annoying than Psylocke is just he gets no regs, and that basically kills his whole character. When you don't do... When your shots, your things you do don't register, basically you're fucked. That's the way it turns out. Yeah, I think I'd rather play Black Panther than Psylocke. Or Magic, excuse me. Or we could play Spooderman and live under the protection of Necros, never getting a nerf through gaslighting, so... You just play under Necros' guise here, and the character will never be nerfed, so... Also, this still blows my mind that Hulk is getting banned. I didn't even know this was a thing, guys. I did not know this guy was getting banned. It has to be laser squids. Laser squids are incredibly powerful. Maybe that's what's going on here. I haven't played in Celestial. I didn't even know that Hulk's... I haven't heard any streamers talk about Hulk needing to get banned. What the fuck is this? This is crazy. That's insane. Okay, we gotta move on, guys. Enough of this. Yeah, that's absurd. Absolutely, it has to be because they're watching my stream. That's the only way she got fucking nerfed. That's the only fucking way. Even the stats back this up. What is this? What is this, guys? Psylocke has a 1.7% ban rate in Diamond. The only when she reaches double digits is literally Eternity, or is it Celestial? No, Celestial isn't even double digit. She doesn't reach double-digit ban rate until Eternity. What is this? Why? She's getting nerfed. Why? There's a dev. They know it. The guys. They know that I talk about DDA. They know I talk about DDA, and they want me to stop. Oh, buddy. Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl, as I mentioned, guys. God, I can't stop talking about Psylocke. Squirrel Girl is changing gears here. Oh, that's absurd, guys. Did you guys know that Psylocke doesn't have a double-digit ban rate until fucking Eternity? Yeah, and she's getting nerfed. Okay. Anyway, Squirrel Girl is already very powerful. She's just not played much. She's a very basic character, much in the same way that... Remember we talked about that meaty middle DPS, like Punisher and... Winter Soldier, she's in the meaty DPS section. And she doesn't really need damage increase. She already does a lot of damage. It's just no one plays her. No one really likes playing her. Just the same way like Storm. No one plays Storm. Even though she's still very good. Increase the capacity of burst acorns from 10 to 12, some more ammo. Mammal Bond, this is where you can basically reuse an ability. Such as your double jump and your acorns. Your root. Optimize the user experience of Squirrel Blockade, Tail Bounce, and Unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami. I don't know exactly what that means. Improved ability release feel. I mean, it always does kind of look kind of weird. I don't know what they're going to do about that. I'll be kind of curious. Overall buffs, not really much of a buff to Squirrel Girl. Damage increase would be absurd. She already does a boatload of damage if you play her well. So, yeah, I don't know. Star-Lord, very powerful character if you're good at hit scan characters. Increased his ultimate cost by about 10%. Increased the target range, which is already very far, from 30 to 40 meters. Damage fall-off is now increased from 60% to... reduced from 60% to 75%. At 40. Yeah. So, as an additional 15% damage, he already basically shreds people in his ult. Increased damage of Omega Hurricane, ultimate from 150 to 160. I don't know if this is enough to override some ultimates. There's probably a break point at some point here where it basically outstrips the healing. Especially if a character is getting attacked. I don't know where that is. Right now, basically, she just spins and triggers an ultimate defensive ult, which is fine. Psylocke does the same thing, so... If you win on Psylocke, guys, if you get a defense ultimate out of a healer, especially if they're in a weird place. Because basically they can't use it for the next team fight. That's a good thing, so... let's see... he can move faster while he's using his ultimate. Increased his magazine size, which is very beneficial to him because of the way his hero plays. Shit, guys, a fucking 2-hour stream. 2-hour fucking podcast talking about patch notes again. Doesn't even see double-digit ban rates until eternity. And she got nerfed. There's no way. Even the plebs don't think she's that powerful. There's no way. They know how powerful once. This reminds me of when there's streamers playing Dead by Daylight, and there's like a couple good nurses in the community. Like, nurses are really, in Dead by Daylight, nurse is an extremely hard killer to play. And there's a couple streamers that are really, really good at her. And, like, it's not like something that everyone can do. And in no way, shape, or form did she need to be nerfed. And the Dead by Daylight developers nerfed her because there's a couple people that play her extremely well. And that kind of reminds me of the way Psylocke's going, where Psylocke, most people don't play her well, except for one streamer, and got her fucking nerfed. That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. Like, doesn't need nerfs. Like, guys, I can't even stop talking about this. There's only double-digit nerfs in Psylocke in Eternity. And even in Celestial, she's at 8.14%. And you go down further in Diamond. Look, where is she? Oh, she's at 0.58% in Diamond. Even the kids in Diamond tier don't give a shit about her. Let's go to Gold. 0.45% in Gold tier. She got nerfed. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Oh my god. Fucking... It is literally Nurse in Dead by Daylight all over again. 100%. There's a couple people, I was good at Nurse, but there's some people that literally just played her constantly and that's all they did. Very good at her. And other than that, like, people just go into their streams, watch them play, and they go, oh, the Nurse is so OP. It's like literally like one person out of the tens of thousands of people playing her. And there's this one person that's really good at the nurse that streams on Twitch, or there's like 2 people on Twitch that do that, and literally got her nerfed because the developers go and watch it, and people watching it see it, and they're like, wow, everyone's doing this, right? And no one is. You can go in the game, no one's playing against it because most people aren't good at, like, she's a very difficult character to play. And it reminds me of fucking Psylocke all over again. It's just, there just happens to be maybe one or a couple streamers that are really good at her, and then everyone else sucks, and she needs to get nerfed. Oh my god. He was good since launch, guys. Like I said, she is comfortably at the top of a power curve in which there are people above her that are most likely to get nerfed because they're better. And she's like the character, the DPS character that you can play well on and excel at, but least likely to get nerfed on a power curve because she's not really that good. She's not Storm good. She's not Torch good, right? She's just up there. Like Namor with Gamma Squid just literally just laser people's brain, lobotomizes people. And she's just like right there at the top edge of the power curve, and they still nerfed her. She's the same state basically since launch, and they finally nerfed her. And you're like, why? Why? Developers, why? Why? Explain this to me. Why? What is going on here? Even Celestial's at 8%, and you have Human Torch at 50% ban rate, Iron Fist at basically 30% ban rate. Even Spooderman is at 8.65. It's not till you get to Eternity where she gets double digits. And even then, she's still in 4th place among the DPS. And then we go down to Diamond, and she's way the fuck down here. Oh, buddy. The developer has it out for me. It's true. It's basically 10% damage off, even though it's 2 numbers. It's like 2, right? Even though it's 2, it is basically 10% damage off a full rotation, which is enough to fucking kill you. Enough to stop you from getting a kill, excuse me. Fuck off. What's with all the bots on Kick today? Anyways, Punisher, definitely don't see a lot of Punisher. He's not really a bad character. Just no one, like, with the thing is, like, you have to understand, just because people don't play a character, it doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. Squirrel Girl being a good example of that, Storm being another good example of that. Some people just don't like playing characters. Punisher's a very simple DPS character. He's not really that bad. He's also not really that good either, so he's just kind of somewhere there. I guess they could buff him, so I don't really know how I feel about this. Single hit damage. I think this is non-shotgun. I don't know what they're classifying as single hit damage. Deliverance. The 1 damage increase, which is 8% damage increase. Reduces spread when firing. That's actually really important. Depending on how small the spread becomes, it makes him more of a laser. Laser rifle is the end-all be-all of DPS characters, so Fortnite fell down that hole. Everyone turned every gun into a laser rifle, and everyone wants every gun to be a laser rifle, and it's very boring because of it. Alright. Moving along. Fucking Psylocke got nerfed. Jeff Kitts gets a fantastic rework, more frontal support and combat ability, but with less survivability. Adds a new effect to Joyful Splash. What is Joyful Splash? Left click. Now also deals damage to enemies at 70 a second and can heal allies through other allies and enemies. It didn't do that to begin with? I thought it was just a laser beam. Ah, so you can actually heal and do damage. That's actually a pretty good buff right there in and of itself. I thought this was always the case. So apparently his left click, I don't know, what did it stop at before? An enemy? Like what stopped it, an ally or an enemy? Must have been an enemy would stop the heal, which is definitely really restrictive. Reduces healing from 150 to 130. Now does damage to you. They'll be very curious to see how that's used. It actually could... 70 damage a second. Be very curious, especially when they put numbers onto characters to begin with. It's very curious to see how it starts out as. Aqua Burst to a charge ability. I believe that's his spit. Yeah, that's his spit. Charge ability. Max of 3 charges, 3 seconds per charge, so refill at 9 seconds. Direct hits now launch enemies up, increase spell field damage from 40 to 45. So it's PC. That could be really fucking annoying. I mean, I guess it's 1 charge per 3. Change effect of bubble healing from 1 time to heal over time. Those are the bubbles on the ground. From 80 to 120, that's huge. They reduce max charges from 6 to 3, though. Reduces enemy launch-up effect. They could... Some really good Jeffs could use this to actually bop you off the edge. Very rare, guys, but they could do that. Very curious. They limited the maximum amount of time you can be underground now. That's really interesting. Max of 120 energy and drains 20 per second, so you can only be underground for 6 seconds. And restores 15 a second when above ground. So you can't perpetually bubble hop anymore, because you eventually run out. Overhealing on enemies followed by his Q is now to 150 health. There's a lot of Jeffs. I didn't even know they gave overhealing. I just knew it healed you. A lot of Jeffs I don't think know that you can actually eat your teammates and heal them. Yeah, it's actually a healing ult if you use it properly. Actually some cool stuff you can do with it. No one uses it that way, though. They just use it to try and cheese enemies by jumping them off a cliff. Increases damage reduction received from taking a critical hit from 50 to 70%. What? He has... You can do crits to Jeff? Increases energy costs of ultimate from 4,000 to 4,500. %, ultimate, or excuse me, critical damage reduction. Damage being double damage, right? So you can only do an additional 30% damage to Jeff. Pop him like a pinata, guys. Although I don't think that's exactly what's going to... It's sometimes very difficult to differentiate between headshots in the game, or critical damage in the game, and just normal attacks. Because of the way hit markers work and the way they look. Where normally in most games the... headshot is a red X, but in this game it's also, or an X, like a red marker of some kind. But in this game it's also just detecting. I don't know how it works. It's confusing though. They look very similar to each other. It's tough. The feedback is very tough to actually notice when you're getting critical hits. Well, it'll be interesting. The biggest change on Jeff is literally being able to damage and heal in a stream, and just basically shooting through the entire line of teammates, or through people in general, which is going to be pretty incredible. extra 2 damage per healing and damage for light and dark. I believe that's when she starts clapping. Play Luna at all. No, it's her left click, and it's a triple shot, so it's technically 6 extra damage. A bonus health per enemy hit to absolute 0. That's her snowball, so she gets rewarded when she hits a stun. Further increase the cost of her ult from 4,500 to 5,000. Her ult is very strong and very powerful and very long. That's what she said. Rocket Raccoon. Direct hits from his healing mode has been reduced by 10% or 5. Alright, so a slight reduction to his healing. Well, actually, that's a pretty big reduction to his healing, but in addition to that, he also has the heal over time still on his left clicks, but his left clicks itself, mainly they transferred the heal over time to his direct, so that actually might be a pretty big nerf to his healing. We'll have to wait and see. Luna Hawkeye. Hawkeye gains an ice arrow. 15% increase to healing effects on Luna is pretty insane. She already does a lot of healing. Dark Surge. I don't know what that means. Jeff NATO, so you can go into it. Once again, these don't actually describe what that does. We'll have to wait and see when the patch arrives as to what this effect even does in the first place. Punisher Black Widow. Punisher gains 25 HP and a 5% boost to damage output. He's all about consistent damage, so this is actually a pretty big deal for him. Pulse Rifle, she can shoot through enemies, basically the same thing. She has a piercing ability now. If she's actually played like McCree, which she could be, which is kind of like a mid to close range hero, she potentially could actually be pretty decent, but no one plays her that way, so it might see a very limited use case. Rocket Raccoon gains 5% increase to his healing effects, which also looks kind of offset his nerf. When Team Up is active, Rocket BRB is upgraded to a web beacon. But in the video it said they could have both active at the same time. I don't know if that means Penny's nest and Rocket's beacon. His beacon basically functions like a penny nest now. But they made it seem like you could have two. So maybe it's just the way it's worded here. In the video it sounded like you'd have two. The way it's worded here might mean that you only get... Basically it's just more like a nest. She gets an extra nest. Penny gets an extra nest with their team with Rocket, which should be a big deal for her, especially for managing her cooldowns and her webs. The best part of her kit is literally her nest, and when you remove them, she basically can't do anything. So, kind of a big deal. Definitely a big deal. Iron Man. An Ultron gains a 5% boosted damage output. Ultron gains Nano Ray, which looks just like a laser. It looks like Iron Man's laser, only penetrates. Venom gets 150 extra HP. That's quite a bit from Jeff. Jeff gains Healing Tendrils. No idea what that is, and it doesn't actually say here. adjusted and removed. Widow Hawk, Raccoon, Punisher, Jeff, Luna. Gamma's all gone. But Namor's still at it. Pretty sure Namor. I don't know why Namor's here. This isn't removed. Bruce and Namor still have their Gamma overcharge. I don't know why he's here. A symbiote bond between Penny, Spider-Man, and Venom is all gone. I still think was it Spider-Man and Squirrel Girl still have their team up though, or it's Venom and Squirrel Girl. I don't know why Namor's here. Bug report. Increase the Atlas Bond team-up anchor damage boost proportion from 15 to 10%. I think this is for Iron Fist. Team up. There it is. Dragon's Chill. 15% damage boost, so they reduced it to 10. Increase the cooldown. The cooldown on all four of these guys, the sibling thing, is very, very powerful. 20 to 25, and arguably Thing isn't even good without it. And that's saying a lot. Thing in general, I wouldn't even say is good. He's like Shitty Hulk. I still think he's like Shitty Hulk. You just saw a lot of, he's very common when he first released just because he's new. Drink your water, guys. Don't forget to drink your water. They increased the cooldown for Namor's Laser Squid to 20 seconds. Ah, so I did call it. I did say they're going to reduce the damage on the clones for Psylocke, and they did do that, in addition to Magneto. Reduce the damage caused by magnetic resonance and soul resurgence illusions from 30 to 20%. The Haddock disc is still on here. marvelrivals.gg. Please. Yeah, she doesn't even have Psionic Disc anymore. Guess it's kind of blacked out. Shows that it doesn't work, or it's not working. So maybe that's just for legacy purposes. %? Is this a buff? Reduce the proportion of damage caused by magnetic resonance and soul resurgence illusions from 30% to 20%. They don't do 30% damage right now, they do 70%. Duplicate reduction. Oh, this is reduction in damage, 70%. This is worded really weirdly. Fucking nerf Psylocke. I even had someone stop in earlier this week, guys. Was it this? It was this week. Earlier this week, that said I'm literally one of the few people that literally plays Psylocke regularly. Yeah. And they nerfed her. One of the few streamers that actually plays Psylocke regularly, and they nerfed her. Psychic Echoes. Where is it? Duplicate damage reduction. Yeah, so the clone does a 30% damage, and they reduce it to 20% damage. Duplicate damage reduction. That's worded really weirdly. It's crazy. Single-handedly got fucking Psylocke nerfed. There's no way. There's no way. Developers, have you looked at the ban rate on Psylocke? I know you watch my stream, but have you looked at the ban rate on Psylocke? Come on now. Come on now. I get it, I talk about DDA all the time, but she didn't need a fucking nerf. She's comfortably at the top of the power curve in which she doesn't fucking get face fucked by nerfs, or by bans, and then they nerfed her. Literally. Yeah, oh my god. They fucking nerfed. Why does she need a nerf? No one cared about the plebs didn't even care about her. The diamonds are like, does she even exist? I never see her. What the fuck is this shit? She got a nerf. Putting aside her team up. The team up's not... We don't really care about the team up. Team up sucks anyways. They could make it better. Fucking... It's like a 10% nerf to every one of her cycles. More than that if you don't have a dash in it. That's consistent damage too. That's a lot of damage. The 2 damage per wing shuriken, guys, is a lot of fucking damage. Wait, did I read this wrong? Wing shurikens are left clicks, right? No. Oh my god, oh my god, guys. I read it wrong. I talk about left and right clicks. Wing shurikens are her butterflies, her right click. It's not her left click damage. Her left click damage is what she uses more time than her right clicks. Her right clicks, we got stuck on the bonus health, then, which I didn't like, doesn't even register on my radar. Their bonus health, I thought that was literally from a team up with like Mantis or something, or an effect from Mantis or something. No. No. Her wing shurikens. It's not 10. God. Not her left click, it's her right click, guys. Now we gotta redo this. They're dropping it from 14 to 12. Which, that's not that big of a deal. It's like 10 damage. 20. Yeah, so they're dropping it by 2 damage. You can hit 10 times. 5 times, excuse me. So that's 10 damage per... You throw it out and then you pull it back, so it's basically 20 damage, right? So they nerfed her wing shuriken damage, which is relatively... you can... Once again, if you could see your cooldowns better, you could use it more frequently. But, 8-second cooldown, and then you have cooldown reduction, too, on top of it. Cooldown reduction on hit, 0.25, so technically you could have 1 second per hit if you hit all of them. But you have to hit every single one of the projectiles on her left click. Critical damage is 150 for Psylocke. You never get crit hits, like at all. It's next to impossible to get crit hits, even if you aim for heads, you just don't get shots. So one of the problems, either it's DDA or it's the game itself is just janky as fuck, and it's next to impossible to guarantee critical shots, so there's no point in aiming at heads at all. This is 20 damage. Okay, that's not nearly as bad. That's not nearly as bad of a nerf as that. Why would you even do this? This still doesn't make sense. Why would you even nerf her? Why? What did she do to you, devs? Were you in one of my games and I killed you? I know you were. I know the devs were playing in my games. They're like, oh, this guy sucks. And then we ran him over and then they nerfed my character. That's literally what happened. Played against a developer. He thought he was cool shit and then we killed him. And then he got angry and nerfed my character. I'll show you, mister. I'll show you good. Okay, so 12 times 8, so it's 96 damage. You shoot 2 left clicks, which are basically 4 shots. 96 times 2, 192. And then the wing shurikens are basically 50 damage. Excuse me. 70 damage? What is that? A 70. Now it's 60. That's a 70, but you can do it twice, so that's 140. 140 plus 192. 332 plus an additional 50, which is your dash attack, that's 382. This takes off 20 damage, which is... it's not 10% now. 5% nerfed your damage if you go all in on 2 left clicks, a right click, and then a dash. It's roughly 0.052. That's if you hit all the shots of the wing shurikens. I don't even know. It gives you a bonus health of 10 per round, but it maxes out at 75 if you hit another target. So you can't ever get 100. And you don't get it twice from the same target. There's a lot of really weird rules with this. This is why I probably didn't notice it was going on. I thought it was from someone else. There's a lot of really weird rules that apply to her wing shurikens. You can only get a maximum of 50 HP from a single target. It's bone overshield, by the way. If you hit a secondary target with it, it maxes out at 75 as opposed to 50. Or, excuse me, as opposed to 100, which would be... the mechanic itself is 10 per round, 50 per target, basically, is what it comes down to. And then when it goes through another target, you think it would get another 50, but instead it gives you 25. And if you recall it from the same target, it does damage a second time, but it doesn't reward you for the health for the second pullback on the same target, which is really weird. That's why I probably didn't understand, because whenever I was attacking the target, it would get eaten in the first place, and I never noticed the shield. It's next to impossible to get a full shield, because you're almost always attacking the same target. And you're always getting attacked while it's heaven. That's really weird. I never even noticed that, guys. I've been playing Psylocke since launch, and never really noticed the overshield. Constantly. So this is roughly 5%. It's totally... okay, I take back what I said. It was a developer 100% played against me, got angry at me, and then nerfed my character. This is 100% it. It's 100% it. The shield, this is annoying. The psychic stealth, this is annoying. This makes it more difficult to set up your stealth. Set up your attacks. You can still work around this. The damage reduction on this is about, in a total rotation, this is about 5% damage, maybe a little bit more than that. It depends on whether or not you use her dash or not, which you probably will. And overall, it's about 20 damage. Either way, she didn't need a nerf. I don't know why she got nerfed. I'll show you, good mister. I'll get you. Stop talking about DDA. Stop playing our game. Don't like it. Alright. Interesting. A lot to talk about here, guys. Biggest takeaways, I would say Jeff. His laser water is going to be something that might be pretty ridiculous. Jeff already is pretty good. I don't know exactly what's going on here with his bubble burst thing, where, or not bubble burst, his right clicks where now he can pop people up into the air with them. I don't know, like normally you do that for a combo of some kind. It doesn't really look like there is one besides just left clicking them. But he can spam it, so he gets 3 charges. I mean, he can do it 3 times, which is quite a bit of CC. You could really fuck tanks with this, or really anyone that's running away. So, I don't know how this is going to work. Jeff, in general, definitely seems like he got the largest changes out of anyone, and his laser squirt is probably going to be pretty good. We'll have to wait and see on that. A lot of characters got slight buffs and tweaks to them. Once again, Iron Fist, a lot of the characters I don't think they address properly, like Human Torch or Iron Fist. Iron Fist has a lot of issues with your ability to actually consistently damage the character, and they didn't really fix that. They didn't really change that, even though they nerfed his survivability a bit. The problem isn't necessarily even his block, it's the fact that you literally can't deal with him when you're attacking him. It just doesn't, you don't do any damage to him. It's not the block either, it's just the shots don't register properly. I don't know. Wait and see. There's a lot of wait and see going on here. Slight buffs to characters. Captain America also might have gotten a pretty big nerf, mainly due to his recharge on his shield. It makes him so he can't harass nearly as well due to the recharge speed on his shield. I suggested the nerf to Captain America being that it changed how often he can use his shield, but instead they made it so that it just doesn't regenerate if it takes damage too fast. Or, excuse me, if you're not using it. So, you have to put it down for a prolonged period of time for it to regenerate now, as opposed to 2 seconds is now 4. So Captain America probably got a pretty big nerf. Strange, slight buff. Emma, slight nerf. Brute, slight nerf. Magneto, slight buff. Depends on how much he icicles people. Thor, slight buff. Hawkeye, slight buff. Hela doesn't need a buff, but got a buff anyways. Human Torch, nerf. Blazy Blast is piles. Yeah. That's what you use to set up his pyro prison. Which is kind of curious. I don't know why they nerfed that. That's actually the part of his character that's actually cool. So it makes it so it recharges, takes... You still probably could get 4 out. You could potentially get 5 out before. Or they disintegrate. So Torch got a nerf, Iron Fist got a nerf. Iron Fist, I don't know if that's going to even translate to a nerf in the game. Besides his overall health pool is now lower. Iron Man got a nerf, but he didn't really need one. Mainly, I'd hope they'd revert his hitbox size as opposed to keeping him where he is right now, because he's really difficult to hit. And we got a nerf. Psylocke got a little bit of... Psylocke got a nerf. Squirrel Girl got a slight buff. I don't think it's going to matter. Star-Lord got a slight buff. Storm got a slight buff. Punisher got a buff, I'd say. Jeff got a pretty meaty buff. Luna got a buff. Rocket got... it's kind of indifferent. Some of these team-ups we'll have to wait and see what they actually do, because the patch notes don't actually tell, like, the Jeff NATO and what exactly it does in the game. Rocket Raccoon, specifically the Penny team-up, I think it's going to be a pretty big buff to Penny. No idea what the Jeff Venom team-up does. Ultron and Iron Man have no idea. Okay, so I guess the biggest takeaway is Jeff, Psylocke single-handedly getting Psylocke nerfed. Oh, that's great. Didn't need a nerf. A pretty meaty Captain America. So, what would be a big 3 here? Captain America, Psylocke, just purely because Psylocke somehow got nerfed. And Jeff. So Jeff, Psylocke, and Iron Man. Excuse me, not Iron Man, Captain America. I think this change to his shield regen is going to be a huge deal. The way he harasses right now is switching back and forth between using his shield, not using his shield, letting his shield regenerate. It's a cadence, and also picking up medkits and receiving heals. And this drastically alters that cadence, which is also why I suggested that they change it so when you drop your shield, there's a cooldown's longer. So it forces you to either commit to a shield or not. This is the same thing. It's probably even a better solution than using just your shield. Than adding a longer cooldown to the shield. Health HP nerf isn't really the big deal. The big one is the shield regen. That one right there. A lot of slight tweaking to the characters. You guys have to wait and see. All right. Let's see. What time is it? Oh my god, it's almost noon. Well, yeah. Kind of sad that the developers, I happened to play against a developer and he got angry at me and nerfed the character that I love, so. Hey guys. Have you guys ever seen the pick rate for, or the ban rate for Psylocke in Diamond? Let's see where Diamond Psylocke is. 0.05% ban rate. How about Celestial? 8.14%. It's getting up there. It's getting up there. It is until Eternity where Psylocke breaks. If you look purely at the DPS, it is until Eternity where she breaks the double digits, guys. And she's not even the top 5 most banned characters, which is Captain America's up there. In Eternity. Grandmaster? He's not even top 10. Diamond? Not even top 20. Top 15? Yeah, have you guys ever looked at where Psylocke is for ban rates? And she got nerfed. What the fuck is this? Why? It's 100%. It's 100% because I played against a developer, guys. I played against them. They got angry that I literally destroyed their team, and then they nerfed Psylocke because I like her. That's 100% what happened here. There's no other way around it. There's no other way that Psylocke would have got nerfed other than me playing against a developer and like them getting angry about it. Absolutely no way. The highest ban rate she has is in Eternity. And in Diamond, she doesn't even register on the radar. Even the plebs don't care about her. Even the plebs don't. 8% in Celestial. Eternity, she's at 12.